Welcome to Best Kept Secrets Travel, episode 18. My name's Morgan.
And I believe my name's Will. And on this
I'm not
episode,
sure you're right.
I'm going to be judging Morgan on his recent trip to Luxembourg, which was all based on our episode 1 of this season, which is season 2, where we stated that we reckon Morgan could try and do a holiday for under £100.
Anyone could do a holiday under £100.
So, before we get into it and we see if Morgan managed it, or where did Morgan go wrong, which is more likely, let's roll the intro.
Best friends, and that's for life. Who stay traveling? I'm talking worldwide, 65 countries between the two. Every moment is so unbelievable. Sharing the best kept secrets about the trips and mistakes they made that they can't forget. So tell me if you're ready for a time to remember as they gear up for the next adventure. Yeah. Woo! Best kept secrets travel.
Before I ask Morgan his first question, we're going to get straight into all of these socials and where you can listen to us or watch us. So you can watch us on YouTube or sometimes on TikTok. We've even got a TikTok account. We should plug in for once in one of these seasons.
Yeah, the YouTube, the TikTok, and what was the other one you said? And the podcast itself.
All the podcast channels are on. Castro,
are all the same names.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and
we're on all of them. We're on all of them, and we are under Best Kept Secrets Travel. And for Twitter and Instagram, we are the BKS Travel.
We are indeed.
How do you spell that?
Correctly,
fantastic. Thanks for your help, Will.
So, Morgan, getting into this episode, which was all based off episode 1 of season 2, which was booking a holiday for under £100, we're going to start off with the simplest question of the lot. When did you go?
That's not that simple.
You could just say a few weekends ago.
You could just say a few weekends ago.
Perfect. Where did you go?
Luxembourg.
Hey! Just like in episode 1 of season 2.
Fantastic.
Luxembourg. The next question.
What? So the first thing that you book is flights.
You do book flights.
Do you know what we said in episode 1 that flights would be?
We said...
It's not there.
I thought we said you'd get flights for around £35 or something.
Yeah, I think we said slightly under. In reality, we wasted a little bit of time, and our flights were £48. But irritatingly, if we booked them the week before, they were under £30, which was really frustrating. But this was a very last-minute trip. But we'll bear that in mind. So, £48.
And take into account, this wasn't Morgan going on his own either. This was Morgan going with a friend. Mm-hmm. So this is 2 booking. So this gives more context into the sort of situation
why we didn't book straight away.
Yeah, why you're booking, whereas Morgan would have just instantly booked.
Yeah. Next thing you book is hostel,
or hotel, or Airbnb,
or which
accommodation.
Is possibly a better maybe option, but
and hostel, was it nice?
No.
Can you remember the name of it?
Yes.
What was it? Call them out. Call them out for a bad hostel. We don't like bad hostels. What's
so,
it called?
Interestingly, in Luxembourg, or at least on Hostel World, there's only one option.
There's one option. That's why it sucks.
Yeah.
They got a monopoly on the market.
It also happened to be one of the most expensive hostels I've been to.
How much was it?
It was around £22 a night.
Oh, per person.
Per person. And we stayed for 2 nights. So we flew out, as we did in episode 1, we flew out Friday evening, had Friday evening, and then we flew back on Sunday. So that's Friday night and Saturday night.
Why does it say £83?
Because that's 2 people. I was literally reading off my Monzo. So these are the
all of this is double
actual costs
for 2 people to go away.
Yes.
Okay.
I paid for the whole trip, and then she paid
To
me
split
back
it.
after. Yeah.
Okay.
So £83 for 2 nights for 2 people.
Yeah.
So that's £41.50.
That's a strong 41.5% of your total budget.
It is. So one of the other costs, I think, can you remember what any of the other costs that were?
That we discussed.
Yeah.
Alcohol. I know we discussed beer.
Alcohol, beer. Beer in general, I would probably say was near enough, only just cheaper than UK prices. But it was reasonably pricey. Wine was quite cheap. Or cheaper. The thing that we did mention was travel from the airport to the hostel and taxis and stuff.
Yep.
We put that into our budget. This is a best kept secret, and it's huge in Luxembourg. And this was to stop, and I told you this was to stop people commuting, because the majority of people commute. We did talk about this fact as well. They commute from different countries into Luxembourg.
Yeah.
So that means suddenly there's loads of traffic. To stop this, the government in Luxembourg decided to make all public transport free. That's trains, buses, everything. So you can just get anywhere in the country really easily. I blame the lovely human who I was with. We missed a lot of bus stops, which meant that, like, in the middle of the night, we'd be like walking through Luxembourg City. It's not a dangerous city. It was very cold.
How did this lovely human make you miss them?
We'd either wouldn't get off, or miss a stop. Wasn't an English speaking stop.
Oh, you just blanked out.
Either that, or there was one time where it was like there were 2 doors that were meant to open, and only the front door opened, and we couldn't get the back door to open, and we weren't the only ones, and then it drove off.
Ugh.
It's really irritating, but
Rookie mistake.
this was a seriously amazing thing, because it meant that we could go anywhere in the country. For free. So it means you can actually be quite adventurous with where you want to go. So on full day 1, we went to Rhymwick. And Rhymwick is a wine region, and to be honest, it wasn't the wine season, which meant that a lot of the wineries weren't open. But a lot of their restaurants were. And we read up on this, and we knew that we could, if we wanted to, go into a restaurant and just ask to do wine tastings of their wines. So we're not actually going inside.
Yeah.
But we still get to enjoy ourselves. So we had 6 wine tasters and 2 glasses of Cremant for £19. And Cremant is the famous sparkling that they have in Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And it's made in the same way as the Champagne region sparklings, but just obviously not in Champagne. But it's in the exact same style.
Price-wise, that's okay.
So that's 2 full glasses of sparkling and 6 wine tasters.
So half glasses sort of thing. It's
And
not,
they were
it's not
nice.
crazy expensive. Would you do it again?
Yes. I would love to go back in the wine season and do the actual tours. That was a shame to not be able to do. The other thing that we were able to do, and we did talk about this in the first episode, was go and walk in nature.
You walked in nature.
Yeah, we walked around all the sort of wineries.
Oh, went around the wineries, not
Yeah.
around the parks. Okay.
Which did kind of go into a pathy trail at one point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. But it was very easy to do because it's free public transport.
Makes it a lot cheaper. I mean, the food and drinks are not the cheapest thing in the world, but
No. So you're keeping track of all the costs, right?
yeah, I am.
So it'd be 48 times 2. That's the only one that wasn't doubled.
Wait, which one?
The flights. The flights is the only one that wasn't doubled. The rest
Okay.
is what I... Next, when I came back, I was a bit hungry after the walking around.
Yeah.
So I bought some sweets and some snacks.
Sweeties.
Sweeties. and that cost £3.50. Well, there were drinks because I was quite dehydrated, as was my friend.
And it was an expensive rugby match, which you went and watched.
Yes, then.
You didn't even watch it in person. This was in a bar.
This was in a bar. It was very disappointing. Well, actually, no, we won. It just wasn't as exciting.
It was the price of it.
It was the Wales game.
Oh, rubbish.
But yes, we went to try and find... The Six Nations was on, and we went to try and find the rugby, and we were really fortunate in that the first bar we came across happened to be playing the rugby. And we managed to watch England-Wales, and England won. And this bar was also called The Tube.
So very English.
Very English pub. And there were lots of Irish people there. But it was a vegan/vegetarian food dishes.
We'll go past
pub.
that, Morgan.
So that was a shame because I would have really enjoyed to eat there. But we couldn't. So we went into the main square and had a steak instead after the game, so the beers, we had 2 beers or 1 beer each.
A beer each, steaks, chips and drink. And was that drink alcoholic?
No.
So you got 2 steaks, steak and chips, plus a soft drink for £19 each. That's all right.
£38. And then we got to the end of day 1.
And you decided that there's nothing else I want in the morning but a hot chocolate.
Oh, but that hot chocolate was good.
For £4, Morgan, you know what I'd expect in that hot chocolate? A £2 coin at the bottom of the cup, waiting for me.
There nearly was. It was amazing. So it is a tourist trap.
You spent £4 on a hot chocolate, Morgan.
It's a tourist trap.
£4.
But you're actually just paying £4 for a block of chocolate. So basically, what happens?
Just go buy some warm milk for like 20p.
That's literally...
Get a dairy milk and roll it round in it.
It's
less than £1 to do that.
That's literally it. You go on the menu and you look for
what type of chocolate, and it's all well-known chocolate.
Yeah, well, not
like
necessarily.
dairy...
No,
okay.
Like proper chocolates, like their chocolates. I assume they make. And it's literally on
yeah, right. No, they're
whatever.
They're milking you guys.
It's literally on a Magnum stick, and then when you order it, they come with a boiling hot glass of hot milk,
and you stir. And you've been completely swindled. Your trip to Luxembourg so far is showing that you don't listen always to your own advice. This is.
I did say we weren't trying to go under
your alcohol
£100
consumption and other things when we travel. This female you went travelling with, Morgan, is making you go and spend £4 on hot chocolates on a budget trip.
It wasn't.
There's 4% of your weekend budget on a hot glass of milk with chocolate.
It was good, and they had toilets and stuff as well, which was useful.
And did the toilet pay you to go just to counter how much you spent in the hot chocolate?
Oh yeah, of course.
Gave you £3 back.
Yeah, £3. It was like money back if you used the toilet. It was a good hot chocolate.
Almost made a swearing joke about the toilet there.
And it also was outside the prince's home. Their version of Buckingham Palace.
The prince's home. The prince doesn't live in Buckingham Palace, Morgan.
I said their version of Buckingham Palace.
But you said the prince. He lived in Kensington Palace.
The prince is their equivalent of the queen.
What happened to their queen and king?
Don't do them.
It has to be.
I can't remember.
So you got swindled for some warm milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then you paid to walk.
Yeah. So then the next thing we did...
Walking isn't free, but all public transport is. And then you pay £8 to walk.
What Will's laughing at is... The next thing we did was the free.
It's
free walking tour.
Gave them £8.
We tipped them very nicely.
So that they could go buy their hot chocolate.
I tipped the
I'm
free
crying
walking
more,
tour.
not just from the laughter, but the fact I've rubbed chili in my eye from dinner.
I tipped the free walking tour so they could buy a hot chocolate. 2 hot chocolates. So the free walking tour was really great because
It's not free.
it is free. If you were mean, you could have walked off.
And a lot of people do. Seeing as they are pushed as a free walking tour.
Not that many people do. Couples will pay together. Not
This place is upside
unethical.
down. You're paying to walk and you get free public transport. We're going to see their economy go under soon at this rate.
Maybe you cover the cost of travel by paying to walk to the bus. Potentially.
Okay.
But the free walking tour was really cool because you get to explore and see the whole city. And it's not a very big city. You get to learn about the history. And I was very excited because in episode 1 of season 2, I spoke for a minute about mermaids.
You spoke about mermaids.
Don't you remember? I spoke about mermaids for a minute. And the mermaid story got brought up in the walking tour. Do you remember? I told you this. I reminded you.
So you paid for something you already knew?
I didn't know.
You could have done this tour and just listened to the podcast.
Maybe you should. Maybe that's what you should do.
I'm more alarmed reading through this basically bank statement that I've got that you've spent £8 on 2 hot chocolates, £8 walking, and now we're getting onto a £40 burger and chips.
So the next thing was our last meal.
Why was it so expensive? When literally at the bottom you say there were multiple burgers and chips.
There. We're getting there. Okay. So the next thing was our last meal. We decided to have a burger, and again, we managed to watch Ireland play Italy in that weird game.
Okay. So this was during rugby again.
Were
Were you watching the rugby whilst eating?
We were, but we didn't plan to.
Okay.
It just happened to be on. And it was that weird game where Ireland played Italy when they had like 12 men.
Yeah.
And that was £40. And that I did have a beer.
So beer is included in that 40
Yes.
for both of you.
She didn't have a beer. She had a soft drink. Luxembourg food in general is expensive.
£40 for 2 burgers, 2 chips, a beer, and a soft drink.
Slightly more than most
more than
UK.
I'd pay in the UK.
Yeah. The only other thing I bought was a flag patch
Yeah, for £3.
Which is all right. I'm going to get that regardless, so that's a sunk cost.
It's almost a hot chocolate, Morgan.
It is potentially almost a hot chocolate.
Isn't it sad that your patch, which is going to last years, was cheaper than you going to walk?
Yeah, but my walking will last me years. And that is everything that I spent, which comes to a total of...
It was £310. You spent £155 a person.
£155 a person. Okay.
So you've gone 55% over our budget.
Okay, but we weren't trying, for starters.
Weren't trying.
And also...
80.
Also, you can cut £25 off, roughly. It's pushing it a little bit, on the flight.
How many days did you go for? 2 nights.
2 nights.
What, Friday, back Sunday?
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I could get accommodation cheaper now on booking.com for this weekend.
That would be really frustrating. You may as well show me.
No, I need to guess.
So £25 off roughly for the flights.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can cut down is it's not set technically sitting in a restaurant, but if you really wanted to get under £100, there were multiple places around the place. That's great, England. There were burger and chip takeaway things that were actually like nice restaurant burgers that you could take away for £8. Like actual proper burgers, not like McDonald's. If you get them for the 2 dinners... Oh, I forgot another big secret. I just realised, yeah. If you get them for the 2 dinners, then you're saving, again, another £10, £12 per meal, per dinner each. So that's another £24. That already has taken roughly £50 out. And again, if you just drink less alcohol, that'll probably also save you. The best kept secret and the good thing about the hostel, what we did do...
Yeah.
As the battery is about to die, is they had ham and cheese breakfast sandwiches that you make. We had a couple for breakfast, and then we took a couple and wrapped them up, and we had them as our lunch on the road. And that is a best kept secret. If you ever get the chance to save money on food by having the breakfast you paid for and then trying to get an extra sandwich, not being too cheeky and taking everything, but just like an extra sandwich for lunch, can save you a decent amount of money and keep you going throughout the day, as well as getting full on alcohol, inevitably. That saved us a lot of money. Due to going during COVID times, unfortunately, maybe not the number one, but potentially the number one attraction to do in Luxembourg, which is Bok Castmates, was closed because...
And what is that, Morgan?
Underground sort of tunnels in the castles
that
you can sort of go through. And because Luxembourg City is quite cool, it felt like a mixture between Harry Potter and Disney. Partly because we turned up and because we missed the bus stop. We walked in and it was night. They have all these like Disney-ish style lamp/Harry Potter lampposts, and then it was a bit foggy, a bit misty. It was a bit eerie. Quite cool. But that was another thing that I would have really liked to have seen.
Well, I'm still impressed. I think £155 for a long weekend in a city.
That we didn't... They're in an expensive city.
In an expensive city, where you'd managed to do a fair bit of things, you probably could have cut down some of these.
I've
if you
cut 50 off.
So the hostel definitely looks like the hardest thing to cut price because of the silly monopoly that this place has. Wine tasters, okay, if you don't drink, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't have the beers, then suddenly you chop down another 30 quid, so 50 in between.
And if you had the takeaway burgers.
Yeah, you could... You could drop
ordered
it.
Flights.
You could drop it, but you had fun and you purposely went out your way and spent £8 on 2 cups of hot milk.
It was really cold as well.
What, the milk?
No. That was hot.
I thought you were about to say £8 on 2 cups of cold milk. You just stir in this chocolate and it never melts. It only gets harder. So there we have it. That cost you two £310 for a holiday. We would have budgeted for 2 people to be roughly on that £100 mark per person, so 200 total.
We definitely, in our predictions, I think, probably got hostel prices wrong. Because we would have probably guessed.
You did book late. And I think city breaks, if you book later, normally for a lot of cities, can be a lot more expensive, especially where the stuff physically there is expensive. Whereas like Barcelona, we did last minute. But when you're actually in Barcelona, you can do a lot of your stuff on a good budget. Whereas Luxembourg is renowned to be expensive. London is fairly renowned to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of places are, whereas Barcelona is not. So it's quite a different experience. I think if you're going for a more expensive city, even if you're trying to be cheap, always better to book in advance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I reckon if I looked at a hostel in, let's say in 6 months' time, you might be able to get a deal just from booking ahead. Might not. They might just be super strict.
I don't think hostels change in price that much.
Get flights cheaper, maybe?
Yeah, 100%. You could cut that in half.
So how much are your flights, roughly? I'll see if I can quickly... You were £48 per flight, weren't you? I'll go on here...
So we're going on... So I go on DuckDuckGo on my phone. Just because it's already in private browsing. And then we're going to search. I'm going to search in June, Friday to Sunday. And I want to go to Luxembourg. Well, no, not Lucknow. That's India.
I found £32.
Luxembourg
so far. £32 from Stansted.
I've got £29. Yeah, it's Stansted. So yeah, £29. So that's 20 quid off, roughly. Which is £20 for our non-English people. I was about to say speakers, but...
That's good.
So that cuts £20 off. So it is definitely doable. I think we've 100% proved that maybe we'll get Will to do it. See if Will can do it.
Trying to go as cheap as possible.
Yeah. Because also I was trying to go to somewhere that I hadn't been, which is why I went to an expensive place. If I actually went for a cheap place, I definitely think it's doable.
Yeah. Cheap.
2 weeks?
Till what?
23rd, the 23rd, the weekend, you free?
I think that's a good spot to wrap up this episode, Morgan.
And roll the outro.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I hope that you can handle going on adventures, best kept secret travels. Yeah, all over the globe, having fun, you know the deal. Amazing secret locations, hang out with Morgan and Will. Educate and entertain, haggle in the market, sharing their experiences. Time to get it started. Let's go.